by Thokozani Chilenga Butao, who is from WITS Department of Political Studies. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us, Thokozani. So the EFF is appealing or instructing their lawyers to appeal. Any surprises there? Because they've been saying they stand by that statement.
I don't think there's a surprise there. I think the issue is why they keep moving on certain political parties and members of those parties and certain institutions and trying to make arguments around their irregular conduct or irregular behavior.
So in this case, they say that the court erred in its judgment because the statement was made in a political context.
I don't think that that is necessarily correct. I mean, the fact that the court found in favor of Trevor Manuel shows that they did find merit in the argument that these statements are defamatory. I mean, to say that someone is friends or family with a person that they've appointed is effectively to point to nepotism and all sorts of corruption that we're trying to get over within our democracy. So even if it's made in a political context, they need to come correct to the court with the evidence that they have, in the same way that they expect other people in their own cases to bring evidence of any wrongdoing. And as we've heard the EFF say, where there is wrongdoing, they will deal with that accordingly.
So when they say in a political context, I want you to please help us understand, would that then draw the distinction between politicking and slander, and how do you in this instance?
I think if you're politicking, it's clear that there is some message or campaign that you are trying to push forward.
So you're mobilizing around an issue.
Yes, and you can do that without having defamatory comments, without making statements about, you know, someone doing something irregular or behaving in a way that goes against laws and institutions, conduct, etc. So definitely they have made a mistake.
So what would have been the message here? Because the EFF say the crux of it was that they were speaking out against what they see was a secret movement, a secret operation around a very important and strategic appointment. And this is obviously a SAG that's been mired in all kinds of controversies, including the people at its helm. But what would have been secretive about this process if it was in the public domain?
I think, as they allege, that it would have been that the candidates want to take SARS in a particular direction. Or if there is politicking going on, they could be feeling that the institution is being threatened by a particular group of people. But as you say, the fact that this process was held openly, and at one point Mr. Manuel did recuse himself where he thought that there would be a conflict of interest, shows that whatever conspiracy they're working with, they're going to have to substantiate those claims. And at some point, they're going to have to let go and let SARS be an independent institution, given the history and the things that we've seen in the past few years.
What are the prospects of success just with regards to appealing this matter? We've seen the EFF and its leader, Julius Malema, be victorious in the parts where he's been accused of hate speech. But there have also been incidents where the party itself has attacked and insisted that certain political analysts or figures apologize for statements that it deemed derogatory to them in the party. What's different here?
So I think what is different here is that the court is expecting them to bring the relevant evidence. The judgment made it clear that there was no evidence to substantiate this idea that Mr. Manuel is related to Mr. Kisfata. So they have to make sure that they bring that evidence. And unless they bring that evidence, unless they show evidence of this secret movement or cabal, I don't think that it's going to hold up in court.
And I'm just thinking back of an incident in Parliament where the EFF itself was accusing the governing party of being murderers in the context of what happened with Marikana. And they managed to net a victory there as well, in the sense that it was said that it was within a context, within a political context. So as the ordinary man on the street, how do we understand what politicians can and cannot say with each other, beyond the physical evidence? What is fair game?
I think what is fair game, as I said, is where you can see there is a political campaign or mobilization around an issue. But where you step into territory where it's now personal attacks, where someone can actually go to court and say, I can prove that this is not the case. I can prove that I'm not the character that is being portrayed, or I did not participate in something that physically, evidentially took place, then that is beyond politicking, because now you move from the issue to personalizing whatever you have against that individual. Man and not the ball. Definitely.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Thokozani. That there's Thokozani Chilenga Butao, Associate Lecturer at